guys, I'm so sorry if I sound quite ill because I am, and also I twisted my ankle, so sorry, that's like really gross, but I twisted my ankle and it's like really swollen, so you could say I started the year with a bang. But yeah, today's video, actually first of all, Happy New Year. And because it's kind of like that New Year time, it's always a time where I get asked so much, like how do I get fit, how do I get back on track? So I've come up with a list of the 5 biggest things that can kind of hinder your fitness, achievements or whatever this year, and things that I would just kind of try and stay away from. Before I go into that though, my new training guide is out. Now the guide is live, so you guys can go find it. It's on my website. The guide is basically a 12-week program. Every single workout is different, but it's going to help you build your strength, your agility, functionality, help get you leaner, and it will just help develop you as an athlete, basically how I train. And I show you guys all of the kind of progressions that will help you get your handstands, some of the calisthenic stuff, so like the tuck levers, some of the walking plank, loads and loads of fun moves in there, but also focusing on some of the core fundamental moves as well, like squatting and deadlift and pull-ups as well. Pull-ups very important. It's got everything you would ever want in it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the 5 top things not to do to hinder your training. Wow, I'm getting really confused with all the negatives right now. These are things that I wish I hadn't done when I was trying to become fit or just achieving any kind of fitness goal, really. Weighing myself was probably the worst thing I ever did, because basically when I was weighing myself, I just got so hung up over the number and it used to dictate how I felt. If I was lighter, I would feel like normal. I never celebrated about it. I was just like, okay, that's what I'd expect. But if I was heavier, and this can be by about 100 grams, I would feel so upset. I'd be really angry with myself, feel really guilty, go out for an extra run, or just punish myself by not eating or something like that. I got really obsessed with the number. And the thing that kind of made me realise that I'd just been wasting so much of my energy and time on worrying about how much I weighed was that there was just no real correlation for me between my body weight and my body fat. As I started weightlifting, obviously I put on more muscle, and as I put on more muscle, my metabolism got higher and I was burning more calories, and so I got leaner and I was able to change my body composition. So now I weigh 11 kilos more than I did when I first started weightlifting, and I look leaner, and I still fit into all of the same clothes because per volume, muscle weighs more than fat. And another thing is that, and I've done a video on this before where I basically weigh myself after every single meal in a day, my weight fluctuates by about 5% every single day. I notice that every day, and it can be from bloating, or like if I'm injured, sometimes I'll hold on to more water, or just simply eating, and even day to day it fluctuates. So yeah, it's just so flawed, so I don't even look at the scales, and I feel like a better indicator of how fit I am is, can I run faster, can I squat more, things based on performance, and also how I feel. So do I feel happy, do I feel good, do I feel strong? Those for me are kind of the better indicators of how I'm getting on, how I'm progressing. The second thing was under eating, and that hit me pretty hard because for a couple of reasons. The first is that every time I went to a training session, I was just exhausted because I just had no energy in me. And because of that, my metabolism was reduced, so I wasn't burning like many calories during the day because my body was just kind of in starvation mode. It meant that every time I ate something, I just kind of stored it because my body just needed food and I wasn't giving it food. That also made me really unhappy. It made me uncomfortable around food. It made me uncomfortable around like dinner parties and like food situations, and it meant that I started kind of binge eating. So there was lots of things that went on because I was under eating, and it also meant that I couldn't recover properly, so I was getting more injured. Even in terms of my hormones, like it really damaged my hormone profile, and I've spoken about this before in another video, but I lost my period for 6 years because I just wasn't eating properly, and it just massively held me back for training because I was just so weak all the time, and I wasn't allowing my body to build the muscle that would have allowed me to train to the next level. And it's only really this year, so last year, 2017, where I started eating more intuitively, eating a lot more food, and as a result, like, started doing some really cool moves. Well, for me they're cool. It's things that I never would have been able to do before if I hadn't like started eating a little bit more. The third thing is overtraining. I did this so much. I basically thought that I was just not a human and could keep going for 7 days out of 7 for years and years on end, for basically my whole life, and continue doing everything at school and work and blah blah blah. So I think I learned the hard way, but overtraining definitely meant that I was, again, always run down, always tired, always grumpy, always getting injured, which meant that I couldn't train, but I would still force myself to train. And through like that kind of education, again, like now I realise that actually the body can only really take like 4 hard, like max out sessions a week, max. And you can do 4 if you've got like, you're sleeping right, you're eating right, you're giving yourself enough rest periods, you're making sure that everything else is in place. Then you can hit those 4, because otherwise you can only really hit like 1 or 2. That was kind of really important for me, was just to kind of be really strict with myself. Look at what professional athletes were doing as well, because they do have periodization in training where they go like intense, they'll take like a lighter sessions, they have active recovery. All of those things are built in to make sure that they can keep going, whereas I was just going like 100%, 100%, 100% all the time, until eventually like I just crashed, and yeah, it was just an ugly ending. The fourth one, I actually feel like all of these kind of tie in together, to be honest, but the fourth one is lack of sleep. If you're tired, it's harder to put out your max in sessions. Like, I've tried before and it just doesn't work. Like, I'd be tired because I'd undersleep for like months and months on end, even years. I was getting like 4 hours, 5 hours sleep a night, and I was, at the time I actually felt great. I was like, this is amazing, like I can be so efficient, I don't have to sleep that much, and I can train, and I can do all my university work, and I can do all of like the extracurricular clubs, and I feel great, until I really hit a point where I just completely crashed. And I had no energy for anything. Even things that I enjoyed, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So lack of sleep is a really big thing that can hold you back, because not only can you not put out like everything you want to in your sessions, it can also lead to kind of injury, because you start feeling drowsy, you might not be focusing so much on technique. So for some people, their goal is to lose a little bit of fat. Being sleep deprived can actually change your hormones, meaning that your sense of satiety is kind of dampened. So once you start eating, you never feel full, and also your stimulation to eat goes up. That's why sometimes when you're like really sleep deprived, you tend to kind of just snack on anything, because your body is just like, oh, I'm really hungry, and you're just really tired, and actually the best thing to do is just catch up on some sleep. And the fifth thing is trying not to focus too much on physique. So I know it can be favourable for your health not to carry too much fat, but it can go the other way, where it can impact kind of your hormone profile and your mental health. Especially for me, it really did affect my mental health, and it's not really an indicator of performance as much as I kind of wanted it to be, and I kept telling myself like, the leaner I get, the better I'll be. I was so weak, and I was always getting injured, and it kind of made me really upset, because I wasn't getting fitter, I wasn't getting stronger, I wasn't getting faster, I wasn't feeling more empowered. I was just so focused on what everyone else was thinking of me, whereas all of that had to kind of change internally, and I needed to feel that about myself regardless of how I looked, because now I realise that how I look is the least important thing about me. And I know I've said that before, but I really hold true to it. And from my experience, and also talking to people, kind of focusing on just physique, it actually became really demotivating, because I got really bored of training. I got really demotivated. I got really fed up of just the same kind of training sessions that I was doing just so that I looked a certain way. So if you can like find something that gets you really excited for the gym, or like a physical goal that, like for me it was gymnastics, like I wanted to learn how to do a backflip. So I kept going over and over and over again, and I was training to do a backflip, to do the splits, to do whatever I wanted to do. But that meant that I kept wanting to go training rather than just being like, oh, I want to lose a little bit of my waist, and it just, yeah, that's kind of motivating. And also being able to do that move once you've done it is like the best feeling in the world. I mean, I guess it's like second to like maybe having your first child or something like that. I don't know, I don't have kids, so I wouldn't know, but it was a really good feeling. And now, like, because I really enjoy my training, I have really intense sessions that end up getting me lean. So the physique that I wanted initially is kind of now a side product of my training sessions, because I actually go all out in my training sessions because I enjoy them and I want to. Whereas before I was just like, oh, I can't really be bothered, I kind of look okay, blah blah blah. So it just changed the whole game for me, and everything kind of fell into place. I'm gonna end the video here. I really hope you enjoyed it. Like, I wouldn't make this video if it wasn't for kind of my experiences, and I did do a lot of stuff wrong. I feel like I definitely learned the hard way, but hopefully this video can help prevent you guys from learning the hard way, because it's when you're there, it's not like a nice place to be. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video useful. Let me know what your resolutions were. Like, I always love hearing what people's resolutions were. I've had some really weird ones in the past. Last year was to do for me was to do a backflip and also the splits. I managed to do both, and also there were a few other things, but I remember those two like really clearly because I spent like every single day just trying to practice those. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. I have loads more videos in line that I'm so excited for, so if you like this video, you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!